From the campus of Marshall University in Huntington, West Virginia, this is MU Report.
Hello, and thank you for joining us for another edition of MU Report Fall 2022. I'm Victoria Ware.
And I'm Grace Hewitt. MU Report is a student-produced newscast of the W. Page Spitz School of Journalism and Mass Communications at Marshall University. You can catch this broadcast anytime on Twitter and on YouTube. Now, on to our top story.
This month marks 52 years since the Marshall plane crash that killed 75 people, the football team, coaches, boosters, and the flight crew. And hundreds gathered on the anniversary of that event to mark the occasion. The memorial for those who died is always a somber time, November 14th. The service is marked by shutting off the fountain as a reminder of those lost. Of course, the fountain itself is a tribute to victims. And as Connor Woodruff reports, it has come time to represent the university's efforts to rise above its circumstances, no matter what they are.
Monday, November 14th at noon, the Memorial Student Center was crowded with hundreds of students, staff, and community members who came together to honor the 75 lives lost in the 1970 plane crash.
Continue to represent the 75, live our lives through them, and make them as proud as possible, continuing the Marshall legacy.
The Thundering Herd football team was on its way back from a game against East Carolina when the aircraft wrecked into the hillside just 2 miles away from the Tri-State Airport. 2022 marks the 52nd year since the tragedy shocked the entire nation and the Huntington campus. The university holds the annual fountain ceremony to pay respects to all who passed away in the tragedy.
I think there's often a misconception that our story here at Marshall is sad and it's one of tragedy, and it's actually not. It's about our resiliency, it's about our success, and it's just about how far we've come in those 52 years since the crash.
Every year at the ceremony, the fountain is shut off until the spring as a tribute to the 75. Another tradition is the laying of the rose, where family members of the 75 place a white rose along the Memorial Student Center fountain to commemorate the lost. Football coach Charles Huff urged the community to view the plane crash not as a tragedy, but as the beginning of Marshall University's story.
We should continue to smile. We should continue to make people feel really good. We should continue to fight and persevere, because that's what they did.
President Brad Smith shared that it's a great honor to be able to represent the university and to continue to honor the 75.
It's a privilege. I have the opportunity to serve as the 38th president, to stand on the shoulders of giants who came before me, and to have the chance to honor the 75 who've impacted all of us in some way, shape, or form, and it's been a real privilege.
This year's keynote speaker was Vincent Corelli, son of assistant coach Al Carreri, who died in the plane crash. Vincent spoke about why it's important for people who were too young to remember the plane crash to recognize the role it has played in Huntington's history.
And I truly believe that we as people, we're going to have problems. We're going to have adversity. We're going to have failures, all kinds of sports and whatever. And what makes us better men and women are getting through those things and what we become at the end.
The Marshall University Choir program sung the school's alma mater near the end of the ceremony after the laying of the roses. After a moment of silence, the 2022 fountain ceremony was officially concluded.
Marshall University officials and members of the community say it's important to honor the 75 every year. Connor Woodruff, MU Report.
And now an update on a story MU Report covered in August, pedestrian safety. The university started a push for safer crossing on the main streets that border campus, 3rd Avenue and 5th Avenue this summer. As Elena Lasser reports, both Marshall Police and Huntington Police are keeping close watch on those busy streets.
In the year 2021, there were 7,485 pedestrians killed in traffic crashes, which is the most to occur in a single year in 4 decades. With Marshall University having 5th and 3rd Avenue surrounding the campus, pedestrian safety is a big concern.
The safety of our students and our employees and our campus community is our #1 priority. And obviously in the past we've had some tragedies. So we have worked in concert with our campus community and with the mayor to try to put things in place that will ensure the safety of everyone who comes to Marshall University. We've installed pedestrian walkways between the university and the Joan. We have had a test done to make sure that we can slow down the speed limits. We've reduced it to 25 miles an hour in both 3rd and 5th Avenue. We have put a campaign out to build awareness for pedestrian safety so that students and faculty and staff know what they need to do to make sure that they're putting their safety first. And all of those are starting to have an effect, but we will never stop until we have zero issues.
Even given the recent changes, students still think there is more the university could be doing to protect them.
I think that adding the new speed limit signs that say 25 miles an hour was a good thing to do, but there's not really enforcement of that rule.
I think that they do like what they can, like they've lowered the speed limit and everything, but I think that if they had more patrolling officers, then it would be better because then people would actually follow that. But I think that they're doing what they can for right now.
Luckily, their concerns are being heard and there is a movement toward action.
We're waiting on our funding to come back in so we can do our speed enforcement again. The President's Committee on Safety, we're still waiting on the DOH's final report to come back in. They come back in this fall and did the survey. So we're waiting on DOH's final report to come in because the President's Pedestrian Safety Committee is partnered with them. So we, 3rd and 5th Avenue are Route 60, they belong to the state. So any changes we have to make will be based upon their recommendations.
Some students feel unsafe walking around campus, but it's important to note that the higher-ups in the university are working diligently to keep their community safe. Elena Laster, MU Report.
The messaging part of this safety campaign is simple. Don't cross from parking spaces midway along the street. Take the time to go to marked crosswalks and check thoroughly before stepping into that lane.
The country is just coming off an election where younger voters likely played a big role in the outcome. Those results show how Marshall students and voters like them can shape their world by getting involved.
College campuses have a long history of fostering political engagement and activism. Student leaders at Marshall University encourage students to vote, be politically involved, and stay politically informed.
I think it's important for students to be politically involved just so that they know that whatever their vote is in upcoming elections, not just now, but in the future, that it affects them, it affects everyone that they're around. No matter how they vote or where they vote, it's important for their voices to be heard.
Politicians listen to people who vote, and if students vote, they'll listen to students.
Early voting, candidate meet and greets, and political club meetings are just a few ways for students to be politically active on campus. Students say that it is important to voice their opinions on issues that affect them.
Our voices aren't being utilized right now, especially in the area. Right now, it's just people that are kind of detached from the issues that we are seeing and things that we face on campus and around the Huntington area.
Organizers say that there are a variety of ways to get politically involved on campus.
They can early vote on campus. They can get involved with our political clubs. They can just go out and meet the politicians who are running for office. Just meet them, let them know what you think.
Organizers say that it is important for students to remain politically active and informed in order to make sure that their voices are heard. Victoria Ware, MU Report.
So Victoria, it's clear that students shouldn't stop thinking about politics just because the votes are counted?
That's right. Organizers say that it's time to build on the momentum if they want to influence the outcome again in 2024.
And finally, Smith Hall and Old Main are undergoing outdoor renovations. The university is having rocks placed along the walking paths. As Isabella Robinson reports, the rocks should improve the appearance of the area and help with cleanup as well.
Smith Hall is looking a bit different these days. As the university replaces the foliage on the hill between Smith Hall and Old Main with rocks, they hope to improve the condition of the area when it faces the natural elements.
It's just easier to clean up because whenever it rains or whenever there's bad weather, all that mulch and dirt just washes all the way down to the bottom. And it's just harder for the actual maintenance crew for Marshall to clean it out. And it's just easier maintenance. And the only thing they have to do is blow the leaves out.
By the time the contractors arrived, the mulch that was there prior to the start of their work had already washed away, leaving mostly debris, trash, and broken limbs, Mink said. Although the job is big, contractor Austin Hunt says encouragement from students has made it go by just a little bit faster.
Just people coming up, telling us that it's a good job that we're doing. We've had some people come up and ask us if they could throw some rocks with us and everything else, just trying to participate.
Hunt says he has been working on this particular job for 4 weeks so far, and that it is no easy task. Student Muna Lentinson says she's grateful for the beautification efforts and thinks the rocks are an asset to the campus.
I love the new addition of the rocks. It makes the scenery look really great. I love the addition. I think Marshall did a great job.
The new landscaping is expected to be completed by the end of the spring semester. Isabella Robinson, MU Report.
I suppose you could say the landscaping outside of Smith Hall rocks. And that pun just had to be screened, so there you go.
That's all the time we have for this edition of MU Report. Our newscast content is generated by students in the W. Page Pitt School of Journalism and Mass Communications. MU Report is a television lab, and we are glad that you are watching. You can always catch this newscast on YouTube, and be sure to follow us on Twitter at MU Report Media. I'm Victoria Ware.
And I'm Grace Hewitt.
Have a great day.